And welcome back to the Ace set. Congratulations to Born Gosu, but of course there is still this final match that was played. It is a best of three, and we are hopping into game one, spawning in the bottom right on Ruins of Ceres, right? Lerlac Crest, God.
Close.
In the green, representing team Lost in Translation, it is JohN.
And in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, the Stefano-colored Zerg from Born Gosu, it is Msyu.
So one thing that's interesting to note is that both these players are masters. So this is a kind of higher level match than your typical ace. Although I think a lot of the aces did get promoted to masters at some point in the season.
Yeah, the Aces are pretty good in the CTL. It's pretty fair to say.
Yeah, I think.
But
Yeah, go ahead.
what's fun is that these two players have actually played before. They found each other in a tournament, and Msyu was able to take that game with a pretty cheeky all-in, a cheeky Ling Bane all-in. And John kind of resented that. He was like, of course you all-in me, because I'm better. So there is kind of a mini rivalry in between these two players about, who is actually the better player. So some hype coming into this match. I'm excited to see.
Yeah, and I mean, like, John did kind of take some digs at Msyu in the CTL Weekly chat as well, saying he couldn't macro and stuff like that. So definitely a lot of resentment between these two players. So this should be a very interesting set. And looks like Reaper Expand coming out here for John behind a hatch gas pool. Yeah, hatch gas pool for Msyu. Just very standard stuff here. Both players will know where the other is at once this Overlord is spotted, or at least Msyu will. I don't know if John managed to see that or not.
I think a common theme that you'll notice is that Msyu, I'm gonna say talented, so I'm gonna say he's a very talented player with like very, very good mechanics. But by talented, I don't like saying that because dude has worked for it. He wasn't just like, oh, I just have good mechanics. That's just how it goes. Dude has laddered so much. He plays so much. So I think we're going to see really, really good mechanics from Msyu. So something to look out for, something exciting to watch.
Yeah, I like that's what I love about Msyu is that he's so good, and yet he just stays so humble. Yeah, he's just a really awesome dude. I love Msyu a lot. John, on the other hand, is also very good and practices a lot. Little less humble, but I don't know that that's necessarily a dig. It's just more of a fact of his character.
Ooh, lose that
Loses that
Reaper.
Reaper. Nice around there from Msyu as he secures that third base.
I was going to say, he was keeping up with the micro. He had very, very good micro against those 16s from Msyu. He was just dancing back and forth, and but that's the thing is that if you lose your attention for 1 second, your units are in big, big trouble.
Yeah, and now these four lings coming in here will get repelled by three Marines in that bunker there. Nice little wall coming up here for John, making sure no run-bys happen today. Starport coming down now, as well as a tech lab being added on to the barracks. There is, of course, one already on the factory as he starts that siege tank production. Roach Warren coming down now for Msyu across the map, as well as taking both of his natural gases for a grand total of 3. And so we'll have to see what he decides to go for here. He's starting to work on these rocks, keeping his third base from the world with 2 lings.
I think it's interesting to note that John is still only on 1 barracks with the tech lab. I really hope he researches Stimpack soon, but there goes another. But this is kind of a greedy build, not necessarily to get ahead economically, but to get ahead technology-wise. I'm sorry, that was terrible. But he's going to have 2 medevacs very, very quickly. He's going to have 2 tanks. He's going to have 2 mid-danks very, very quickly. He may want to start harassing with that.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a. I would definitely think you could get at least some damage done. But right now, it looks like he's just gonna sit back. He did stop siege tank production in favor of those medevacs, and does load up 2, and is now heading across the map.
And these need to do damage. He's gonna need some pretty sweet control. because this is actually very, very gas intensive. He has barracks who needs to research stim combat shields and concussive shells. He's got a reactor with the starport on it, and then he has a tech lab towards the factory. Everything needing gas, so he can't lose these tanks.
Ooh.
Good job dodging those Ravager shots. Very, very good control with those tanks. And Msyu has a pretty good response to it.
Yeah, JohN
He
trying to
maybe
find the
just
opening
looked
here.
Ravagers.
Oh, so close. Does actually bile his own Ravager there. A little bit unfortunate. And JohN now is forced to be on the run. These Lings doing a nice job of keeping these tanks from landing at all, as well as keeping an eye on where they decide to get off to. Overlord speed is what, and 30 Lings coming out now for Msyu as the Spire goes down behind it all. Queen coming up to kind of force this back a little farther. JohN not quite able to get that shot off.
JohN isn't able to get anything done with these tanks. He killed the Queen, I guess. But other than that, he's not able to do too much. Which I think is very, very nice for Msyu.
And I mean, meanwhile, he's falling behind in workers. Like 48 to 37 in favor of Msyu. Baneling Nest, Spire, and 2 Evo Chambers coming down now. And these tanks are still not doing anything.
I love these Zerglings at the bottom of the tank.
Oh, that was real cute.
Oh!
That was real cute.
Was awesome preemptive shots from Msyu. Did you see those corrosive bile shots before they even landed? Oh my god, that was adorable.
JohN getting a quick jump on him from the tanks when he goes over that wall. But these Lings will not be deterred. Macro hatch going down, as well as his 4th base being secured for Msyu. 1-1 for the melee, for his Lings coming out now, as well as Baneling speed. Spire finished up now, and 18 drones coming out now to saturate that 4th base as soon as it's done. Great stuff here from Msyu. He's in a wonderful spot in this game. JohN trying to take out that one Ling does finally have victory.
Yeah, I don't think I like pulling the Lings back. Only because you did have sight on those 2 tanks, and I feel like JohN wouldn't attack without those 2 tanks because that's so important. But now this is kind of a scary force. I don't think there's any Banelings out. I think that's kind of a mistake for Msyu not having Banelings out earlier.
He's trying to morph them right on the top of the ramp. The scan sees what he's trying to do, and yeah, and they're all going to get canceled.
Yeah, I think he's just going to roll. Every single off for 3. I think JohN just took this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's so little army left here. These Banelings don't quite have speed yet, and there are only 2. Great tank hits there. Shred this army. GG from Msyu. JohN takes game 1 of the ace set. That's huge. Like, go ahead. Yeah.
That was such a big mistake from Msyu, not having those Banelings up and ready. What a bummer. I mean, that could have been potentially a very easy hold. 4 tanks is 4 tanks, though, so who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But, man, that was kind of unexpected, especially against that such good defense from the 2 mid-danks. So good job. Good job from JohN.
Yeah, we'll see how JohN carries over that momentum into Game 2 on Dusk Towers. I mean, I think Msyu definitely had that game, but he just, like, he had it in his grasp, and then he just didn't morph the Banelings in time. If he'd had those Banelings, it would have been a completely different story. Anyway, it's in Game 2, spawning in the bottom left, up 1 game on match point. It is JohN.
And in the top right, down 0-1, the Stefano-colored Zerg from Boron Gosu. It is Msyu.
So yeah, we'll have to see if this game is a little bit longer. I know that map doesn't. That map with those spawns doesn't tend to lend itself to very long games. So we'll have this map a little more standard. We'll have to see. What goes on. Barracks coming down. Looks like JoHN's going to go for another Reaper expand, as Msyu goes for pretty much the same thing.
Again, very standard play from these 2 players. I do want to say, though, that JoHN's confidence is probably a little bit high right now. He just beat a very strong Zerg on a very Zerg-favored map, in my opinion. I'm probably wrong about that, but I just find that map so very strong for Zerg. So JoHN must be feeling pretty good. He probably thinks okay, as long as we can get into a standard game, I can take this guy out easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, like, and Msyu, meanwhile, no, like, I imagine must be kicking himself a little bit because he had the tools and just didn't quite utilize them right the way he needed to. And so we'll have to see if that affects how both these players like play this set.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting game. I wonder if Msyu might like go for something a little cheeky, just to be like, okay, we played once in a tournament, and actually, fun fact, it was the grand final of the tournament. But they played, and he was like, okay, I did this all in, it worked. I played a macro game, it didn't work. Maybe I should just try to be really, really aggressive and kind of take this guy off guard, because so far it's got a 1-for-1 success rate.
Yeah, and I mean we'll have to see JoHN's expansion a little bit later this game. Stim already being started now for JoHN, getting another
Very early stim.
max. And this Overlord's going to try and come in and see what it can, but a Marine is already in position to hunt it down. I think it will still be able to see the stim researching if it decides to go that way, as well as the second gas being taken here. But instead,
Msyu Marines.
instead Mshu's deciding to pull that out.
That's kind of weird to see two Marines. He knows the Reaper is not coming.
Mhm.
And to see two Marines, you must be like, I think this guy, he either went gasless, or he's going to try to be really, really aggressive. I think the more common scenario is that he just went gasless. But if I was Msyu, I would definitely want to poke around a little bit more and see what JoHN has.
Yeah, and it looks like
Although Mashu's not scared at all and just drops the third. He's like, yeah, I can handle it. It's fine.
all those Gosu mechanics. Overlord speed and Zergling speed coming out now from Msyu. Baneling that's going down as well. Meanwhile, in JoHN's base, Factory, Stim almost finishing up now. Factory coming down, and +1 ground weapons is the choice here. JoHN possibly ramping up for a strong +1 hit. Doesn't really have the barracks to support that, so I'm not sure how likely that is. And so, yeah, both
he
players...
scouts the third, so now he should be thinking, maybe I want to be a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely right. And these links go up, do see Stims researching. And yeah, I mean, Msyu here has to know that the possibility for a very strong push is, like, that's possible. I mean, yeah, I don't really know what I have to say on that, just because I don't play either of these races and won't pretend I do. I mean, yeah, layer coming down now for Msyu, as well as combat shields for JoHN. +1 attacks for JoHN finish up in roughly 40 seconds here. 30. I can't count. Anyway, finishing up fairly soon here, and he's not really in a position to push out very strongly. Still getting an attachment on that third base. No sort of medevac production possible yet.
I still think he might push out, though. I think he's going to wait for this combat shields to finish up, and he's going to try to do a quick little push at the third. You know, nothing too intensive. It's mainly just going to be so he can set up his third. You know, it's kind of like the best defense is the best offense.
Mm.
And if he can hold Msyu back, then he's going to be in a very, very good position.
Yeah. And 28 links coming out now.
He's not forgetting his Banelings this time. Yeah, he's completely ready for this.
This won't do anything. And if anything, JoHN has to be very careful to not lose this army if he commits too hard up this ramp. Because the speed...
He won't be able to secure his third if this gets wrecked.
Yeah, I mean... Oh, very nice play from Msyu there. Huge friendly fire, though, and the Baneling's getting nice hits there. And that army gets completely destroyed. This is worst case scenario now for JoHN, and he's on the back foot. Getting that third base on the high ground is a nice play. The two Widow Mines are still burrowed there, not able to do too much, though, in all likelihood. Scan sees this Ling army coming across. Msyu not even worried about a Widow Mine burrowed out the top of that ramp, and now is just containing. He says, I know I'm ahead. I know you can't kill me. We're just going to sit here.
Look at that. Even making JoHN secure his front ramp with a bunker. I mean, this is a very, very bad position for JoHN.
And here
and he's even going to try to Baneling bust. Ooh, I don't know how well this is going to work, but Lings get in. They do break. Oh, it takes out a lot.
Wow.
With those Banelings.
Nice pickup on that tank. So this will get cleaned up. That was huge losses for JohN for not very much of Msyu, especially with that Spire coming out soon. Because at this point, JohN is probably thinking that he's going to stick with this Ling Bane, or at the very least Ground Force, and this Muta switch is going to just wreck his mineral lines.
But the thing is that Msyu lost all aggressive pressure, and now JohN can secure his third, which is not what Msyu wanted with that. I think he got a little bit greedy. I think he thought, okay, I killed a lot with that attack. I can kind of end this right now. And JohN just didn't let him. So as it was a good trade for Msyu because it got rid of his entire active forces, but now neither player can be aggressive, and JohN can just secure his third.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. 4 Mutalisks coming out now. I don't think he has the Larva to do... I don't know. He's just choosing to limit that. They're adding on a few more now. +1 flyer attacks and centrifugal hooks coming out now for Msyu, who's looking to have a very strong Ling Bang Muta force.
And I mean, it would be pretty strong because if you look at the work count, it's 62 drones to only 42 SCVs. Even though JohN was able to secure his third, it was still a little bit late, and he wasn't able to get that high SCV count he wanted. And now look, Msyu getting his fourth at a kind of a weird position. Oh, never mind. I get it. Okay, so since JohN is going... This is actually really, really smart. Because JohN is going for Medanks instead of Widow Mines, JohN can easily just siege up behind the fourth and take out Mineral Lines, while Msyu wouldn't be able to do anything about that. So we decided to take the fourth that's a little bit further away, just so he can't be put in that very, very awkward position. Very, very good play from Msyu. Wow, that was really smart, because I definitely would have taken the fourth and then gotten sieged and then lost. Wow.
Yeah, really smart play from Msyu here. His Lings are a little bit out of position to deal with this army that is coming up to deny this fourth base. And it looks like he will just have to give that up and cancel it. Yeah, it does get to cancel. Good play there from Msyu. Losing only an Extractor. This army is in a nice position to catch him on the bottom of the ramp. Those Morphing Banelings a little bit too aggressive there. Really nice Baneling hits. But yeah, there's great splits there.
Oh, not... Okay,
yeah. Kind of dropped off there at the end, and that army gets cleaned up yet again. And so now these Mutas kind of have free reign, and they can might go across the map and try and see what they can do, but it's not too much.
So the one thing you don't want as a Terran is to have an equal amount of command centers with their barracks. It is 3 barracks right now compared to, you know, a 4-base Zerg. And look, these Mutas are just wrecking havoc in the middle line. Oh, the SAVs just not fast enough for the repair. The thing is that trade was actually, as bad as that looked, it was actually kind of fine for JohN, but he just didn't have the production to remax. So it was actually really bad. It was much worse than it seemed. So, yeah, JohN, build some barracks, man. He's so low. Why is he so low on minerals?
I mean,
he only has 40 SCVs.
Yeah.
Oh. That's not good.
He's just under full saturation on his natural, and his main is mining out slowly and not even close on his third base. Just in general, just falling behind in the macro play to Msyu. And now upgrades being sniped here. That is... Okay, nice cancel there.
That must feel so good for Msyu.
Yeah. Winning at macro after all that was said. So now, yeah, go ahead.
Msyu had actually sacrificed his upgrade timings for a larger army. So actually denying that upgrade allowed him to get a larger army and be equal on upgrades. That was a really nice play by Msyu. Or it was, to be honest, it was more bad positioning of engineering base from JohN than it was a good pickup from Msyu.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Mshu's still not going for that fourth. Wow, he really doesn't like that position. Building his fifth super far south.
I mean, good play from him there. I mean, it does deny what you were talking about, that siege, I guess. I feel like at this point he has good enough position in this game to keep that from happening. But in the end, it's not the biggest deal in the world. Liberator getting a nice initial shot, but obviously not wanting to trade with that huge muta force of 17.
Look at this Ling Bane army. That is the Zerg swarm right there.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
23 Banelings and 73 Lings. Whew. That's not something I would want to go
he's not
against.
even maxed yet. I mean, you look at that and you look at the Terran army and you think, how in the hell do you take that on? Just
Especially with
so.
just Marines and Liberators, and I guess a few Medanks, but I mean, you really want Widow Mines. Widow Mines are definitely a better choice in this situation. And uh-oh, JohN might be caught out of position here.
Yeah, I mean, this Zerg army has a huge window here just to push across. JohN was seen, I think, by the tail end of those Zerglings, and now JohN is choosing to go straight up for this fourth base.
Mm.
And meanwhile, Msyu picks off a tank there and is now coming back to catch the backside of his army. Two tanks are completely exposed to these Lings as soon as they arrive. Liberator Zone's going down on top of it, but I don't know if it'll be enough to save it. Okay, good play there from JohN. Does position to keep those tanks protected. Still not dropping one. Okay, does pick him up.
This army is completely trapped here. There's no
Yeah.
way to escape other than fight. I think he should just fight right now. He can't run away from this many Zerglings, this many
He
units.
can't run. He can't fight. That army gets completely shredded for completely free. That is
man.
absolute worst case scenario for JohN, especially this late in the game. 78 supply to 169. The Zerg army is coming across the map. Lings,
No, he's gonna snipe the Medanks too.
man, I mean, Lings take out this tank at the base of the ramp. Not quite, actually. Does decide to let that live for some reason. And now the third is having to lift. There isn't very much income left. The army is getting shredded. Bane push. And
JoHN's
GG.
out. He pieces out of that hard. Very good play from Msyu. I think JohN was a little bit overeager here. He didn't respect the army from Msyu. And so he pushed when he really should have been defending. Ooh, that's
Yeah.
that wasn't pretty.
Yeah, I think he just didn't. Yeah, I just he didn't give Mashu's army the respect that it deserved in that situation, especially given how far behind he was. I mean, it was a good idea in theory, but it just in the end didn't work out. And so now we go in to match point. On Arena, it will be a TVZ. JohN versus Msyu. Msyu kind of stealing the wind from JoHN's wings there, beating him in exactly what he said Msyu was terrible at. Anyway, in the bottom position in the green, representing Lost in Translation, fighting to win this ace set, it is JoHN.
And in the top left-hand corner, bringing it back 1-1, it is the Pink Zerg, Msyu.
So this map we know very known, like very easy to do cheeky stuff on this map. If you're Msyu here, what are you thinking? Are you gonna go for something cheeky, or are you gonna try and take it later because you know that that's what you're better at?
If I was against JoHN personally, I probably would do an all-in. But if I was Msyu, oh, dude, I would bring this to. I think I would feel very, very comfortable on this map. I mean, you can all in. You can. It's a nice macro map. It's actually very, very easy to secure. It's surprisingly easy to secure your 4th and 5th. So I think Msyu is in a very, very good position. I think the thing is that JoHN chose this map. So JoHN may have a build specifically chosen for this map.
Mm.
So it's a little difficult. I don't know. Either player could take it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, both players going for very similar things to what they did before. Looks like, yeah, I mean, both players going for exactly what they have been doing. JoHN going for that, I imagine, will be Reaper expand.
Yeah, the Reaper's okay. He is going Reaper. The Reaper was just a little bit late. I think he messed up his gas timing just a little bit. But I mean, I don't think it's like a make or break game difference. Yeah. Especially because with this spawning pool, I think the gas was a little late for Msyu too. I don't know. It seems like both players are under a little bit of nerves here.
Yeah, absolutely. And excuse me. And keep in mind that when this set was played, the week was not decided yet. So, I mean, I'm not sure what the exact score was, but both these players were, as far as they knew, playing for their team's tournament lives. And now Roach
This would be very scary as the ace player, because the ace player I mean, we can hum and haw all we want, but the ace match is definitely the most important.
Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely.
also the most exciting, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of pressure being the ace player, and so I don't blame any of these players for having nerves. I mean, I was in the ace match for Msyu, and in our third game, I froze up so hard. I was so scared. Oh, it was god awful. I think I've mentioned this like every single Chobo weekend too. But I
Apparently,
can't stress enough how like scary it is to be against your opponent 1-1 in the third game when neither team has won yet. It's terrifying.
yeah.
But
Roachborn finishes up. Sorry to interrupt. Roachborn finishes up here, and roaches are on the way now for Mashu. Apparently, this match was played whenever the score was at very least match set for Born Gosu. So the nerves are amplified here, playing for that championship victory. Ling's coming across the map, securing this watchtower, denying any possible vision. Nice micro there, gets very nice hits on that Reaper, but looks like the Reaper will barely escape.
I like that. JohN lost his Reaper in the first game. It's always like, oh, he sees the roaches.
Ooh,
That is huge. That is
that is
absolutely huge. He knows this all-in is coming. You don't see three roaches with that amount of links that early. That doesn't happen. He knows the all-in is coming. He does have the bunker up. He does have the Widow Mine up. I would love to see a tech lab on that factory, or at least a Liberator. Ooh, the medevac, I don't think it's worth it. I don't know. I'm not as good as a Terran, but I would definitely look to get into Liberators and Siege Tanks, something that could immediately defend my base.
yeah, and I mean like he's getting this medevac, but he doesn't really have very much bio to heal with it or anything really to like lift off, unless he's planning on doing a drop or something, which I think is not a wise decision. But he unburrows these Widow Mines and the Marines right now
Oh,
as this
please
army's
don't,
coming
don't.
across the map. Is he going to load up? No. Does this very nice choice there. Burrowing, getting a second bunker. JohN avoiding disaster. Here come the
Ooh,
very nice
seeing the
quest
Widow Mine.
pile.
Nice.
Nice work there. And now the second bunker is keeping these SCVs from repairing. This bunker will go down 100%. The Ice
Oh,
Force fires. Huge Widow Mine on the friendly fire. Oh my god,
those
this is so
SCVs
huge.
with 5 health each. They go down instantly to one Ling. That Ling has 5 kills. And he knows where the other Widow Mine is. Yep, and there it goes.
Nice,
Two
nice.
shots, takes out the Widow Mine.
64 supply to 32. Msyu going for the throat, taking down the buildings on the bottom. Meanwhile, JohN was trying to secure his third base, building it at the top. That's minerals not spent on army here, and he doesn't have what he needs in production to keep up a force that can fight this army. Meanwhile, Msyu making roaches has secured his third base. Msyu is
It's
such
amazing.
a position.
5 units doing this all in just by themselves. That's insane.
I mean, JohN here is just so trapped in this position. Liberator
The
comes
Liberator
out
is
now.
out.
As soon as it sets up, though, it's going to get corrosive bile to half health. I believe it takes 4 to kill that. And
Okay. Msyu has
Msyu,
to back up.
yeah, Msyu backs off. He is only on 1 gas production. I would like to see him ramp that up a bit. And sitting here taking these Liberator shots is not what you want to do.
He needs SCVs here to try to like repair the Liberator. He can't let that Liberator take any more damage. That's his only saving grace. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
He's
good
repairing
play
it
from
now.
him. Those are on the
This
front
ramp
side,
is
though.
pretty well defended. He's got the bunker. Have your units go into the bunker. Kills.
Liberator
both
goes
the
down.
Widow
That
Mine
is so
and the-
huge. No
Get in the
units in
bunker.
this bunker. Stim is sniped. Thank you, Picker.
The next
Those are good
Liberator is
shots.
coming out. He drops
Dropping
2
mules to try and repair and doesn't even get it. That is so
Oh,
huge. And now Msyu
God.
backs off.
I
That
think Msyu has it. I don't
That is
know. I don't know.
yeah.
Three command centers though is very, very hard.
I
You
mean, with
can
these
never
three,
do it.
with these 3 Ravagers, this Liberator's days are numbered.
Especially with all those
Two.
links just running
He
right
needs
through
one
the
more
fire.
shot. Okay, he does get the third shot off. Good job. Ling's coming in, cleaning up that bioforest. Bunker not done. Lings have free reign of the base now.
Oh, this
Final
is
Marine
it.
goes down. Medevac saving what it can. Bunker falling at the front. Lings on top of all these SUVs getting cleaned up. GG. Msyu takes the ace set 2-1 to make the final score 2-5 in favor of Born Gosu. Congratulations to our grand champions of CTL Season 12.
great games. I can't believe it really shows you how mechanically, again, I say talented, but I don't really mean how mechanically strong Msyu is with just doing that all in with just two Ravengers microing them back and forth, hitting the Widow Mines, hitting the Liberators. Just very well played. Thank you guys for watching our cast. It was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And now, please, Tech4 and Trilo finish us off.
Yeah.